Hi, my name's Ed Davis. I'm the owner and founder of EdSets, and today I'd like to explain to you the difference between the 2G headset and our 3G headset. The names come from the fact that we created a second generation and a third generation headset design over the last 10 years, and basically that's where the 2G, 3G moniker comes from. There is some confusion sometimes that it might be related to the mobile 3G network that Sprint and Verizon, companies like that use, but that's not the case. It just happens to be our version of 2G and 3G. So these are wired headsets, and they don't hook to telephones or use the the networks that the mobile carriers use. So 2G and 3G, what's really the difference between the two? Let's see if we can explain that quickly. First, I'll hold up a 2G headset in a little KBC helmet here, full face. And you notice there's a little dongle that hangs out here, and then starting right about here, there's a coiled cable that goes down to the bike. So this is essentially a single section lower cable. You may be used to a two-section upper and lower cable, and we have that on the 3G, but the 2G does have only the one single cable down to the bike. So the little dongle here stays in place. It's made similar to the one on the Goldwing, and in fact the cable has a same connector on the upper and lower end, so it's actually reversible up and down. And pretty much that's it for the for the 2G headset. It's a very simple design, and we wanted to keep it that way because what we were after with our 2G headset was the simplest possible headset and connectors that you could make, and then still have a super high quality sound. So the 2G and the 3G still share the same speakers and microphone quality. In fact, it's the same electronics for both headsets, so we don't have a good, better, and best. But the 2G, I want you to think of it as the simplest possible headset you can make. It has a basic connector here, a single cable down to the bike, and plugs inside for two speakers and a microphone line that can be plugged into one of two different types of microphones. And let me show you those. One of the 2G microphones is a boom microphone, and of course it comes with a windscreen, but we're just showing you the microphone here. And these mount inside the helmet under the cheek pad about like this. So under the cheek pad you find a 1 square inch spot. Attach this with the dual lock and you're in business. Now this works well with, it can work with full face helmets, but it's generally used in open face and modular helmets so that you can still speak while the face shield or the chin bar is flipped up, or even on the convertibles where it goes all the way over the back. This is generally the microphone that you use almost any time there's a boom mic involved. There's also a little button microphone that mounts basically out on the front of the chin bar like this. And this little button mount mic can be used a variety of ways. Most people will just stick it right on with Velcro, and it sits on the, I should show it like this, it sits on the front of the chin bar like this. And you like to have it about, an inch or so from your mouth. In tighter situations, this little square tab could be popped off, and you can drill a 3/4 inch hole and mount that little thing flush so that it sort of doesn't protrude at all. And that's what we call our surface mount microphone, which can be surface mounted or it can be flush mounted, either way. And in a nutshell, that's the 2G. So let's review real quick. A single cable from the headset down to the bike, a simple wire distribution connector that stays in place all the time and has facility to plug in both speakers and two different types of microphones into the same wire. Okay. Now let's contrast that with the 3G headset. On the 3G headset, the first thing you notice is there's an outside module. And this module has a wire that goes up underneath the edge of the helmet, and it's almost hard to distinguish where it goes. So it's a very neat, tight, and sturdy mount. And you can set this thing down on any kind of table or anything like that and never worry about it stressing the wires, because the wires never touch anything. They're nice and safe and secure under here because there's a little ledge protecting them. Now, the thing that you notice about the 3G module is there's a couple of receptacles on the back and one on the front here. So let me explain what those are. This little 3.5 millimeter jack here is like the one you'd find on an iPod. In fact, you can plug in earbud speakers, custom molded or off the shelf from Walmart or anywhere like that. And you can listen to what the bike's doing through this little jack at any time, as long as you're connected with the upper and lower cable, which we'll show you in a minute. The other receptacle here is for the upper cable that we'll show in a moment. And then on the front here, there's an RCA jack, and that's used for a third type of microphone that the 2G doesn't use. And I'll show you that. But first, let's go back to the little 3.5 millimeter jack. This can be used as an input or an output. A good example of an output is when you're using custom molded earbuds to listen to the bike, which block noise and make it a little easier on your ears when you're riding on a long trip. Another use of this is if you're on a mic without any kind of an audio system at all, you can put an iPod in your pocket or your jacket pocket, hook a connector between the iPod and this little jack here, and then it'll drive your helmet speakers so you can listen to music while you're riding, even though you don't have a system on the bike to listen to. In that case, you wouldn't use the upper and lower cables. You would only use this little cable over to the iPod, which is in your pocket. So let's move up to the upper cable here. This is the standard upper 3G cable. You notice it's a right angle, and if you look at these closely, you'll notice that there's a lot of strain relief on this cable. In fact, it buries about 1.25 inches up inside the headset before any pins ever make contact, and there's a lot of strain relief here, so this is a very, very, very durable cable. And it still leaves you access to the little 3.5 millimeter jack on the back here. Now this upper cable, when you're wearing the helmet, will hang about right here at your shirt pocket, so it makes it real easy to look at it and unplug and replug at gas stops and things like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and we'll plug in the lower cable to the upper cable. I'll just do that right here real quick. And now we've got an upper and lower cable down to the bike that we can disconnect real quickly here just by yanking it apart. And you notice the little pop there. These are watertight connectors, and as always, gold plated. Now, so now we've looked at the back end of the module here. We know what the 3G or the 3.5 millimeter jack is for. We know what this one's for. Let's flip around to the front now and take a look at this RCA jack. Now this is a full face helmet, but let's pretend for a moment that it's a half shell sitting way up on top here, and we want to get a microphone down to our mouth. Well, that's where the RCA microphone comes in handy, because this microphone has a little RCA plug on it, just like you've seen before on the back of stereos and things like that. And this microphone plugs in right here securely to the front of the 3G module, and you can bend it down. Let's pretend for a minute this was the bottom part here of a half shell helmet. I don't happen to have one in the office today, but you can see how you can just bend this microphone down and it'll fit in front there for you. What you would not want to do with this microphone is try to use it on a full face helmet like this. It's hard to get it up and under there, but it can be done. The other microphone, the boom mic that we showed earlier with the 2G, is really a better bet. So let's consider this RCA microphone as a half shell only, okay? So that's basically the difference between the 2G and the 3G headsets. Let me do a real quick review here. On the 2G headset, it's a simpler headset. We have a single cable down to the bike, and on the 3G, we have an upper and a lower cable down to the bike, and we can disconnect right here. The 2G uses two different types of microphones. One is a boom, the other one is a surface mount that mounts out in front of the chin bar. On the 3G, we have those same two microphones we can use, and that's with the wires inside the helmet. Or you can use the third microphone that plugs into the front of the 3G module on the outside of the helmet. And that's generally only used for a half shell helmet. Now, as far as the speakers and microphones go, The speakers are the same between both headsets. They're the same hi-fi, deep bass, rich, full sounding speakers that you've come to expect from EdSets. We don't make a good, better, and best. Every headset we sell uses the same speakers. Nobody would want anything else, I don't think. So we have those in both, and the microphones, with the exception of the RCA, also share between both headsets. Okay, so the 2G and the 3G pretty much share everything except the RCA microphone. You have a single cable on the 2G, upper and lower cable on the 3G. The 3G also sports the little 3.5mm input-output jack. And that's basically a summary of the differences between the 2G and the 3G headsets. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've learned something. You can always visit EdSets.com for more information, or give us a call, 937-271-4077, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. We hope you buy EdSets and enjoy them on the Hi-Fi Highway, and above all, ride safe and enjoy the Hi-Fi Highway. Thanks for watching. Bye.